for the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of regulations come about from the White House, essentially when it comes to firearms. And one of those is really banning ghost guns. And I made a video recently about the problem with banning these guns is really the hobbyists, those who make guns, homemade guns, those who are inventors, things like that, they're being eliminated. Well, recently, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals overturned that. And now the Supreme Court is going to take up the case. And we could predict almost how this is going to turn out. Now, I love this for several reasons. One, what we saw a few years ago when the Supreme Court took up the concealed carry case, that is the first Second Amendment case we'd seen the Supreme Court take up in a very, very long time. And now it's just coming out quick. And rightfully so. There's a lot of violations to the Constitution taking place over the last few years as well. Now, the ghost gun concept, again, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals overturned that, saying that the ATF overstepped their bounds by enforcing such rules. Now, the Supreme Court is going to have their say in that as well. So this is great news because the problem with banning ghost guns, here's the problem with banning them, because it's not going to take it off this. The criminal element is still going to have them, and we know that. That nothing in there is going to change. It's only going to harm law-abiding citizens is the problem. And that really most gun regulations, this is the case. If you look at over the past 2 years since they implemented these regulations, there's been over 500 arrests. And a small fraction of those were actually criminals. It's just people caught in the system thinking they're doing the right thing. But because of new rules, suddenly, now you're doing the wrong thing in their eyes. So ultimately, again, it's only going to hurt those individuals, period. It's only going to hurt those individuals. It's going to eliminate the hobbyist. It's going to eliminate inventors. And you're still going to have a massive ghost gun problem. And really the idea of ghost gun is just something without a serial number. I'm glad to see the Supreme Court taking this case up. I do believe that in the end the Supreme Court's going to agree with the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals on this one. And hopefully we'll see a new day on this. So there you go, Supreme Court taking up the White House's ghost gun ban. Be fascinating to see how all this plays out. Again, I already kind of predict how it will. I do want to give you a warning real quick, though, that whenever, when we saw the Supreme Court declare that everybody has a right to carry outside of their home, anti-Second Amendment efforts doubled down. So, I have less freedom now than I did before that ruling. So, anytime there's a victory in the courts, it feels like we take steps back. So we'll see how this plays out. That's going to be my prediction. The Supreme Court is going to say that the ATF did overstep their bounds. And then anti-Second Amendment communities are going to double down. So there you go. Any thoughts or insight, definitely put that below.